for being here. When I listened to the students that spoke this morning, I remember the first time as a public school teacher that I lost a student to gun violence. I remember the way we all sat and watched at Gina's empty chair in the classroom, waiting for her to bound in with her big smile and retake her seat. I remember the first time as a school principal when I had Sergio sitting in my office with tears running down his face because both of his parents had been deported, and he didn't know where he was going to sleep that night, and certainly didn't know who to call for help because he couldn't call the folks who just took his mom and his dad. When you're a public school teacher and a public school principal, you see all the ways in which the world tries to break kids. But you also see all the ways that we're capable of trying to hold them back together. That's why I'm proud that I am the only public school teacher and public school principal in this race who will be the first public school teacher elected governor of Colorado. That's why I'm proud that I started my career in one of the poorest counties in America as a school teacher. It's why I'm proud that I ran a school in a juvenile prison. It's why I'm proud that I served as a top education advisor to President Obama and helped him pass the policy that saved more than 400,000 teachers' jobs in the middle of the recession. It's why I was proud to be a school leader in Thornton, where I took over a high school that had a 50% dropout rate, and we, over the course of 3 years, with an amazing team of educators, turned it into the first public high school in Colorado where 100% of our seniors graduated from high school and got admitted to four-year colleges. That was why when I found out that almost half of those students were undocumented and couldn't go to college because in Colorado they had to pay out-of-state tuition, I ran for the state senate, and after that bill failing for 12 years, we for the first time were able to bring Republicans and Democrats together to pass Colorado's DREAM Act and open the doors of college to every kid. And that's why I'm proud that as a state senator I passed more than 120 pieces of legislation, more than 100 of those with Republican support, to do big progressive things like expand renewable energy, like expand funding for public schools and for early childhood, and also by listening to teachers to know that we had to reduce standardized testing and did that more than any other state in the country. And that is why I was the first candidate in this race that stood up to say that Betsy DeVos is not qualified to be Secretary of Education. Stop her from privatizing Colorado schools. But I want to close with one other thought today, which is 19 years ago this spring, students walked into a Colorado high school like this one. The cafeteria and the auditoriums full of the sounds of kids, until instead those cafeterias and auditoriums rang out with gunshots. By the time that day was over, there were 12 kids that never made it out of Columbine High School. That day, at that moment, was the worst school shooting in American history. The families and kids who survived that day built a memorial that reads, "This day brought the nation to its knees. But when we got up, what had changed?" I will tell you what has changed. What has changed is today the Columbine High School shooting ranks nowhere in the top 10 of American mass shootings. It is time for us to say that enough is enough.
Wow.
I served in the state senate when the Aurora Theater shooting happened and when Sandy Hook happened, and I was proud to lead the charge to fight the NRA on background checks and on magazine limits, and I am the one candidate in this race who can say I took on the NRA twice and I won.
Yeah.
As your governor. The question is, the last year of American politics also brought this country to its knees. The question for us is, when we get up, what will have changed? When I am your governor, what will have changed is we will lead the fight against climate change by being the first state to get to 100% renewable energy by 2040. What will have changed is we will create a public option for health care so that everyone can get access to affordable care wherever they live. What will have changed is we will will build affordable housing across the state so everyone can live in the communities that they grew up, so that we can go to the ballot and finally repeal the worst parts of Tabor, and so that we can once and for all get military-style weapons off the streets of Colorado and keep guns out of the hands of those who should